I'm going to react to Mark Rober's response to the claims of about his video about the Tesla crashing into a styrofoam wall.
Former NASA engineer and huge YouTuber Mark Rober has found himself in the midst of a massive Tesla scandal, with Rober currently being accused of misleading viewers in his newest video titled "Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car?"
Right from the beginning, it's misleading. Can you fool a self-driving car? And he at the beginning of the video he uses auto steer. Auto steer is basically just lane keep assist and traffic aware cruise control combined.
Video that currently has over 10 million views in just 2 days, and in it, he's testing Tesla's camera detection system versus the LiDAR laser scanning technology in Luminar vehicles. Right in the video, you see him put both cars through various tests, first having them approach a test dummy of a child, and both the LiDAR car and Tesla, with autopilot turned on, stop for the dummy. He then proceeds to add obstacles like the kid entering the road at the last second, fog, water, and bright lights. And while the LiDAR stopped for all of them, the Tesla with autopilot on ended up hitting the dummy when faced with fog and water. But then, the test generating the most conversation was a sort of old cartoon Wile E. Coyote style wall that looked like a continuing of the road, with Mark trying to see if the fake road would trick the cars or if they would recognize it as a wall and stop. And in the video, what you see is the LiDAR car stopping, but the Tesla driving.
This isn't where I see an issue with the video at about misinformation. In what scenario are you ever going to be driving down the road that there's going to be a brick wall with a painting of the road in front of you? I thought this was funny. I thought it was interesting.
Through it. And that is where a lot of the backlash is coming in, because Mark said that he was running all these tests using Tesla's autopilot feature, and you can see it appears to be engaged leading up to the wall, indicated by that rainbow road. But if you look at the moment it actually crashed, it doesn't look like it was on. And then on top of that, some argue that if you really wanted to accurately compare Tesla's self-driving technology to LiDAR's, autopilot was not the right feature to use. And that because while autopilot has tools like traffic-aware cruise control and auto steer, many Teslas now have a newer tech called full self-driving, or FSD, which has all those tools and many more, which is why you had outlets like Forbes saying, frankly, few are interested in tests on the old autopilot, so that makes Rober's tests fairly meaningless, even if it is the case that the newest FSD system would have made the same errors. We unfortunately.
Yeah, there's another side to that statement also. There's a difference between the hardware 3 and the hardware 4 versions. The hardware 4 cars, the camera system is almost 5 times better, and the capability of it, the AI to make decisions, is 2 to 3 times better than version 3.
Don't know. Also, in addition to that, in the description of the video, Mark says that while there was no compensation given and the video was not a paid promotion, Luminar did provide the vehicle so they could test the LiDAR technology. And with that, you had Forbes adding, while Rober may not have known about the software versions available for his car, the crew at Luminar, the LiDAR company which assisted with the test, provided the LiDAR car and system, and has done these tests before, would surely have been aware of them and should have informed Rober. And so, with all this, there's been
that would be a fair point if it was it wasn't his own car and he doesn't own a Tesla. If he'd been a rental car and he not an owner of Tesla, is not that oblivious to the features of it.
Ton of outrage online as well, with people writing things like FSD was never engaged and nothing was on when he crashed into the wall. The whole video was designed to bash Tesla and promote Luminar, a LiDAR company, as well as I truly don't want to believe Mark did.
Yeah, I honestly think it was intentional, but just by the things that he said there throughout the video, I'll go back and watch the actual video. I just a lot of stuff he said there in this interview kind of got under my skin.
Intentionally, but I mean, the car isn't even on autopilot when it crashes. This is disappointing, Mr. Rober. You also had some saying that Luminar was previously advertising Mark's video on its website, though it appears that's no longer the case, and that has prompted some to question how involved LiDAR and Luminar were in the video. But it appears that while Mark drove the Tesla, someone from Luminar drove the LiDAR, right? They have the company's gear on. And even though Mark said that it wasn't sponsored and they just provided the gear, not everyone seems to be buying that. Also, something that we've seen really blow up around this are conversations around stock prices, or with some noting that Luminar's stock went up huge after the video was posted over the weekend, whereas Tesla stock, at least as of recording, has dropped today. So you have some.
I honestly think it wouldn't have. The video never had a thing to do with the Tesla stocks declining. They've been declining but they're actually up from what they've been in the past year. That's kind of misleading also.
Arguing that Tesla should take legal action here, with the creator Meet Kevin putting out a video saying Mark defrauded the company and a lawsuit could be filed, adding,
he promotes his own product using this, frankly, defamation against Tesla to promote his own product, while also promoting Luminar Tech. Whether or not Luminar Tech paid Mark Roper here or not may not matter. He creates negative brand for Tesla by implying that the technology he's showing is Tesla's full self-driving technology. He literally writes, "Can you fool a self-driving car?" But he doesn't actually use the self-driving technology in his experiment. This is really problematic because if the test was done more fairly, it'd be tough for Tesla to have an argument here.
Now, for his part with this, Mark responded to some of this backlash by posting the raw footage of the wall test.
Here we go. Here we go. Holy shit!
And just like in the YouTube video, you can see that autopilot engages at one point and then goes off just before the crash, and Mark seemed to acknowledge that by writing, "Not sure why it disengages 17 frames before hitting the wall, but my feet weren't touching the brake or gas." But also, notably, his response generated more criticism, right? Some alleging that the clip that he posted was a different take than the one that was in the YouTube video. Right? And with all of this developing in real time and new questions and accusations popping up, we reached out to Mark Rober for comments or response, and we actually got him on a Riverside call. Keep in mind, this is not a debate. I just want to get on the record responses from him regarding some of the most asked questions, including if he actually did multiple takes of the wall crash video, and then the internet can go from there. Mark, thank you so much for the time. I'm just going to kind of go through the bullet points of accusations and questions regarding the video.
Sure.
And like we talked about beforehand, if there are things that feels like people would think that were missed or weren't covered or come out as we're recording today's video, you said you're open up to follow-ups?
Yeah, sure, totally.
So first one is less of an accusation and more a question, and that was there any reason you opted to test autopilot on the Tesla instead of full self-driving?
My understanding with full self-driving is that you have to enter an address for it to work.
Well, that's false. He knows that. If he's a Tesla owner, he knows that. You get updates on the car fairly regularly, and it has release notes on what it is. You can engage full self-driving at any time. It'll just take the most likely path if you don't put in a destination. That's a total crap answer to that question.
As opposed to just being able to engage it. And this is what Tesla's called autopilot, and even Googling it, seeing what they determine as autopilot. And my understanding is that the sensor is not different, whether it's full self-driving or autopilot. Knowing if that's a wall or not, that doesn't change. So I think I'd be happy to rerun the experiment in full self-driving. I'm pretty confident it wouldn't be a different result. So to me, it was
Yeah, there's not a difference in the hardware, but there's a difference in the software that it runs off of. Autopilot's basically like predetermined programming. It reads like the speed of the car ahead of it and stuff like that, and it's basically it'll brake and maintain speed with the car ahead of it, and it's supposedly supposed to brake in an emergency. I don't trust it.
distinction without a difference.
In the clip that you posted on Twitter where you said here's the raw footage, can you explain what it is that we're seeing and what you're trying to explain is happening in that? You said not sure why it disengages 17 frames before hitting the wall, but my feet weren't touching the brake or gas.
So I think people were saying that I was manually just drove it through, because 17 frames, by the way, is like less than a half of a second before it hits the wall. Again, I don't know why it would disengage. I was not pulling on the steering wheel. And by the way, even if I did disengage it, it's less than a half a second before you go off. The outcome would not be different. My guess is maybe the sensors, the ultrasonic sensors, which I think are on the bumper.
Depending on what model it is, I believe in 2022 they took the ultrasonic sensors off of all Teslas. I know his car is not a hardware forward car.
They probably just disengage if they sense that something big is there, and it just stops being in self-driving mode or autopilot, whatever you want to call it. So that's all I'm saying is, like, some people clipped right after and said, look, it's not on autopilot. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just here. Like, I don't have a horse in this race either, by the way, right? I just wanted to go out. I love my Tesla. I'll probably get a new one when they come out. I'm just here to look at the data.
I honestly wonder if he actually does own his Tesla, because someone like him's going to be a nerd over any updates and differences and things like that. And he's claiming he didn't know the difference between FSD and auto steer. I call BS on that.
And I think I struck like a political nerve or something. And the video was about LiDAR. Like, and all the...
I find it more likely that it is politically motivated than monetarily motivated. I don't know.
Ways LiDAR's used, so I felt like this was a fun test to run. And papers have been run on it. Like, can you fool a self-driving car with the Wile E. Coyote ride? Like, papers have been written on this. So it's like, well, I should just run the test. And that's what it was.
Regarding the
That's misleading there. He's still claiming that can you fool a self-driving car? It's not self-driving. It's running on predetermined programming.
the raw clip and what's in the video, there have been people that say that it looks like you may have had multiple takes, or possibly gone through the wall multiple times. Were there multiple takes? What can you give any insight there?
There was. I mean, this is like what you put in end video. So the first day we went out there, I think you can even see it. There was we didn't have like the styrofoam wall. It was just like a vinyl sheet. And it was clear if you just drive up with it, you know, you can see it, the Tesla tells you the math of what it's looking at. And if you drive up to this wall with the road, it doesn't register anything. It doesn't register a cone. It's so like whatever the math that it's doing in the computer, it doesn't register when you paint a road that something's there. Like even if you just drive up to it. So anyways, we did a take. It went right through. I think that was the one that maybe was at 40 miles an hour or something. But it was just like, instead of cutting through it, like which would visually look cool, it just kind of tore the side and like a little flap came up. So it was like, that was a very interesting finding that it actually worked. And by the way, I'm happy to give you the raw footage of that take too. So you'll see it going through the wall, but it's more of a flap. And then we're like, holy crud, I can't believe that really worked. And then I don't know, like 3 weeks later, we went back out when schedule permitted, this time with like a styrofoam wall. Because I thought it'd be funny if it's like, well, now that it goes through the walls, we should have like a fun cutout as it goes through. So I guess in the edit, then we used the start of one of those clips. So it went through the wall twice. Once when it was just kind of a flap, and then second when it actually was. And I understand. So I guess that's the confusion there.
So the clip that you posted online or on Twitter was the one where the raw of you actually going through it the second time?
Yes, that's the second
Okay.
time. Whereas the
think that-
cool styrofoam and like the cutout, right?
Sure.
The first time you'll see, it's just like a vinyl print. It kind of just the flap ripped up on the side, so it just didn't look as interesting.
Regarding Luminar, there have been a lot of people asking what kind of role they played. Right, the description of the video says they provided the car for testing. Did they have any say in the edit? Did they have any
No
say in
edit.
the
They
setup?
didn't see the edit. I really want to clear this. Luminar gave us no money. They had no say in the edit. They did not approach us. They were just a car technology I know that used LiDAR. So I reached out to them and say, hey, will you let us borrow some cars? And then they let us use the cars. So we didn't pay them to come. They did not pay us. They had no say. And we didn't know what would happen either, by the way. And we told them, look, if your LiDAR fails one of these, it goes in the video. And if Tesla would have passed all of them, by the way, that would have gone in the video. Like, I'm very agnostic. I really just wanted to see what would happen. So truly, I don't have a horse in this race.
And I guess
I still, like I said, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. If it was truly can you fool a full self-driving car, he would have used full self-driving. He can't play stupid that he doesn't know the difference between it and all this and that and others.
on that, do you or anyone close to you, once again, it's like based off of these accusations, do you or anyone close to you have any Luminar stock?
I do not own any Luminar stock, or I do not know of anyone close to me who owns any Luminar stock. Absolutely unequivocal.
And I know you said you love Tesla. Just to confirm, do you have any options or puts on Tesla?
I have no options on Tesla. I have no puts on Tesla. There's no financial anything in here at all. At all, 100%. I'll go into court of law.
Okay, well, because
They're all free remote.
There's 100% financial gain in it. Yeah, maybe not from stocks or any of that, but from views. The hate for Tesla is tremendous right now for Tesla and Elon. Hey, you could knowing you could put a video out like this, and as many people hate Tesla, it's going to get gobs of views, probably millions of views.
Besides data and interesting, like it's an interesting test. That's like the history of my channel, like and just whatever the data shows is what I'll put up.
Because I will say, yeah, I mean, regarding you saying this in the court of law, I mean, there have been a lot of people, granted it's the internet, granted it's YouTube videos. I've seen some folks like, I think it was Meet Kevin, saying that there's a possibility of a lawsuit. Do you have any concerns over that based off of the video or anything like that?
No, because it's like, I mean, anyone can sue in America, so I guess, but I think we could get it dismissed pretty quickly because it's like, I just have nothing to hide and I have no ulterior motive here. No one's paying me. I have no stock. I have no shorting. I'm planning on getting another Tesla in, like, I don't even have politically, apparently it's a political issue. Like, I don't even have a horse in this race. I just thought it was an interesting finding.
So Mark, kind of the last two things I'll hit on. One, do you have any comment or reaction to Luminar removing the link to your video from their website? I believe it was as of this morning.
I think someone said that they had posted it. My guess is they took it down because we were very clear with them, like, you aren't allowed to use this at trade shows. This isn't part of your marketing material. Like, this isn't a puff piece for you. We just want to borrow the car, and whatever happens, happens. So my guess is they felt bad and realized that's a bad look if they are posting it. But we told them, like, this is not for your marketing materials. We are just using your car for our video. So if it's down, I'm guessing that's why they took it down, out of respect for us.
Sure. And then the last thing is just, is there any general reaction or statement or anything you want to throw in there that you feel like wasn't addressed by the questions that I've thrown at you, which or anything like that?
No, I just like I love my Tesla. Like, it's one of my favorite. I'm really just here for the data. Like, I really don't have a horse in this race, and I realize now we plan these videos a year in advance. So the idea that this was like timed because of political stuff, like a year and a half ago, this was on our docket. We've been marching towards releasing this, so I plan on upgrading my Tesla in like 6 months. So I'm just here for the data, and I don't think it means they're self-driving or is terrible as it is. Like, it's gonna get better. Like, but yeah, what happened, and if you could easily recreate, and what happened, and anyone with a Tesla can easily recreate exactly what I did. So.
Well, I've definitely seen.
Hopefully someone does. If I had access to something to
if
print
that happens,
a
what the
picture of the
results
road
would
to
be.
do it, I would
But,
try it.
For now, thank you so much for the time, and